Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to be using the Anna Griffin Rose Designer Collection to make a really pretty card using the beautiful Trimmings embossing folders and dies as well, but with hardly any florals, and you'll see what I mean as we go on. So I'm starting off with my card blank, which on our cardometer is a 7x5 inch card, and I'm using an Ivory card base. I'm just going to make sure that it's got a good sharp score at the top of the card so that it'll stand up nicely. So what we're going to start with is doing our inside, because I know you all like the inside ideas, and sometimes we want the inside to be just as pretty as the outside. So what I'm starting off with is a piece of Ivory paper. Now this is just a bit thicker than a text weight paper, and it's roughly about 100 GSM to 120, so that it's still a paperweight rather than a card. And I'm cut a layer that's just slightly smaller than the inside of our card, and I'm putting that inside as a layer. The next thing I've got is 2 strips of pink pearlized card. Now these are actually the waste from something that we're going to be using on the front of the card, which I'll show you part of it. I've actually die cut and embossed a section of card. It's in the pink pearl, and I've used the beautiful Trimmings embossing folders and dies. So I die cut it and then I embossed it, and the waste that I was left with are these 2 strips, and I'm simply going to attach them to the top and the bottom of our card. So I'm just going to use a tape runner to add a little bit of tape on the back of them. So I'm going to do the bottom one first, and that's going to sit over the edge of our card, of our paper that we've just put in for the insert. Now you'll see the top one, I've actually stamped it with a tiny stamp, and it says "I will love you forever and a day." So that's going to go at the top of our card. But I've also cut 2 little flags in one of the floral papers from the Rose collection, and I'm simply just going to place those in the centre, just at a slight angle like that, and then I can place the top section over the flags, and there we go. So that will just position over the top like that, and then I can see that it will still close as a normal card, and it's got a pretty inside. So now we can go ahead with the outside. I'm starting off with one of the papers, and actually this is one of the cardstock layers from the Rose collection. I've already put double-sided tape on it so that it will go on my project nice and quickly. So I'll just peel the back of the tape away, and there we go. So this is cut to size, and this is a nice base layer for the outside of our card. So I shall pop that on the front of it like so. Now the next layer, which you've already just seen briefly, is the embossed and die cut layer. Now mine is a bit wibbly wobbly in the middle, so don't worry about that, because you're not going to see that, and it's simply the way that it's die cut. It's slipped in my machine and it shows that I'm human. So, but it's still die cut nicely, and it's still embossed well, and it's still actually quite straight. It's just the centre that isn't. So I've put this onto 3D foam because I want it a little bit more raised up than a flat layer, and I'm using a 3D tape for this because it's not quite as thick as some of the foam pads that I use. So I'm just using the tape for this, and it's a little bit quicker than the foam pads as well. So I'm going to position that in the centre of our card so that it just covers the centre over the background, like that. The next thing I've got is another piece of the pink pearl cardstock. Now this is from Anna. I'll put details in the bottom in the description box of everything that I'm using, and if I can include a link I'll do that as well. So if I miss anything, please let me know. So that's another die cut section of our pink pearl card. So for this I've just used the actual die from the beautiful Trimmings collections instead of using it with the embossing folder as well. And then I've cut it twice so that it's made that fancy shape for the middle. Again, I've put this on 3D foam tape rather than just sections. And I'm going to place that through the middle of our embossed centre that we've already placed on, so you can see how it layers up nicely. The next thing that I've got is again from the Rose collection, and again using the dies from the embossing and the die collection. I've cut out a strip of floral paper. Now this would be a good one to be able to use all your scraps with, because if you've got some beautiful paper and you've got bits and pieces left over, not enough to make a full card front, there's no reason why you can't cut out a strip like this and use it as your focal piece on your card. So I've simply attached that over the centre of the actual pink panel that we've just placed on. Next, what I've got is I've got a gorgeous sentiment from the Artfully Said vellum stickers, and I've put it on a layer of an olive green card that matches in with the green from the back layer and the green from the floral section, and I've put it on 3D foam. I've also cut two tails that are from the same paper from the background and the floral paper. So I'm simply going to pop the tails onto our card front, and I'm just going to use a little bit of glue to do this so that I can actually move them slightly to get them in the right position when I put the actual sentiment on. So just add a little bit of glue to them. I'm using glossy accents for the glue on this card, and then the sentiment, I've got 3D foam on the back of it, so I'm going to place the sentiment over the top of the tails through the centre, and then I can just slightly manipulate the tails to get them in the right place because I've used the glue, and that will dry quite quickly, but there's enough time for you to be able to manipulate it into the right place. And then to finish with, I've already got and made a satin bow out of olive ribbon, and I've simply got it on a glue dot, and then I can place it onto our card above the sentiment in the centre, and that finishes off our card perfectly, and it makes an elegant card with hardly any florals. As much as I know we all love the florals, but sometimes you need a card that isn't as floral but just as pretty, and that I think is a beautiful card, nice and quick, using quite a few of your Anna Griffin techniques in your products, and anybody would be glad to receive that. Inside and out is pretty. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give me the thumbs up. I love hearing from you, so please comment, and thank you for watching. I shall see you again next time.